Welcome to the Bravery Behind the Brand podcast, the podcast that dives deep into the heart of the stories behind the brands we encounter on social media every day. On the surface, they make it look so easy, but I guarantee there is blood, sweat and tears behind all the reels, posts and beautifully presented products. I'm your host, Amanda Jane, a personal branding and media skills coach, originally from the north of Ireland and now calling beautiful Cheshire, England, my home. I work with business owners, building their confidence and crafting compelling brand stories so they feel comfortable stepping into the spotlight and becoming the go-to guest that everyone wants, speaking with authority and selling with authenticity. I experienced firsthand the courage that's required to move beyond our comfort zone, and these are the inspirational stories I want to share. I'll also be doing some solo episodes and sharing useful tips that will hopefully help you to get motivated with your own personal branding. Because it's more than just a beautiful website and glossy photos for Instagram. You do actually have to talk to people. So let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome to the Bravery Behind the Brand podcast. I'm Amanda Jane, your host, and today I have with me Sandra Pierce. Hello Sandra.
Hello there, hello.
Thank you for joining me. So before we get stuck in, find out all about your business, I'm just going to ask you a few questions so we can get to know you a little bit better. So, do you have a favorite motivational song?
Oh, yes, I do. Actually, it's one that I listen to not all the time, but it's quite poignant to me, and it's called "No Matter What They Tell Us." And it was from I think it was Boyzone back in the day, and I love the words in it because if you listen to the words, they're very poignant. I think they're very poignant. Yeah, so that's one that springs to mind.
Good choice. I love that song and I love Boyzone and they're Irish. Yeah, that will go on the Spotify playlist. Thank you. And do you have a motivational quote?
Yes, well, there's a lady that I follow, and her name is Mel Robbins, and she's an American lady, and she does she's very motivational, and she's got it's called the 5 4 3 2 1. Just do it.
Mhm.
So if you're ever contemplating and fretting about something, if you count 5 4 3 2 1 and do it,
Let's do it.
9 times out of 10 you'll do it.
I've heard of her. I've not really I shall investigate further because she sounds very interesting. But thank you for that. I love it when someone mentions something. I'll get a little bit curious and think, oh, I'll have to investigate further. But thank you for that. And now I'm just being nosy. Do you read?
Not as much as I should, but I've just been and ordered Miranda Hart's new book. It's arrived today, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that. It's had great reviews, I understand. So again, it's more motivational, I think. So that's going to be my bedside read tonight.
Oh, that sounds good. I love her and she's very funny. So is it about her life or is it fiction or is it just
No, I think it's a bit more along the lines of um, I think it's all to do with how mindfulness and
oh,
that sort of thing. Um, yeah, so I thought I'd give it a try and see what I'll gain from reading her book.
oh, that sounds good. I might look that up actually. That sounds right up my street.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. So you are from Looking Good Naturally and you are a business mentor in the beauty industry. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I've been in the beauty industry for over 23 years now. It originally, I guess I say I fell into beauty. I wanted to go off and teach IT back in the day, and I went to do an IT access course, and discovered that I'd got a hearing disability at 38. And so it was on that year, at college doing training, that I decided that I would change tack and do something where I knew it would be more on a one-to-one basis with people. And so I set up, it's called Beauty at Number Two, back in the day. And I ran a lovely little beauty business down in Chorleywood in Hertfordshire. And then I moved to North Wales 11 years ago. Supposed to have retired, but after 6 months, it wasn't quite for me. So launched Looking Good Naturally, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, getting out, meeting new people, and obviously helping women look good naturally.
Amazing. So interesting that you went from IT to beauty, but I can see why with the hearing issues you wanted to do sort of a little bit one-to-one. And then moving to North Wales, I'm not far from there myself, and it's beautiful.
Gorgeous, it's gorgeous. My views from my home, I overlook Puffin Island and Anglesey and the Snowdonia mountain range. It's the most beautiful place to live. It gets quite windy here, but it's beautiful.
Yeah,
It
you need to
really is.
wrap up warm, don't you? So,
Yeah.
what's the biggest challenge that you faced then in that industry, and how have you overcome it?
Oh, I mean, looking back when I was 38, um, and discovering I had a hearing disability, I didn't believe it to start off with. I just couldn't believe at that age. You associate hearing loss with old people, and it completely knocked my confidence for six. And I wasn't in a very good place for quite a few years. I was quite ashamed of the fact that I had a hearing disability, and it was very much work in progress for me. But going into the beauty industry, it was a big game changer for me. And you get to meet some wonderful people, and I could, going self-employed, I could manage my hearing loss my way. I wasn't working in somebody else's office or salon, and yeah, I put my coping strategies in place. And you know, in the 30 plus years that I've worn hearing aids now, um, technology's just moved on amazing. I'm Bluetoothed into you tonight, so that would
Oh,
not have been possible. I wouldn't be on this call had it not been for technology. So
oh,
it
wow,
moves
that's
forwards.
incredible.
And
I didn't even know that you could do that. And I know quite a few people with hearing issues. So can you explain to me how the Bluetooth works then while we're having this
yeah,
conversation?
it's really cool. So I don't have to wear AirPods like you guys when you listen to music on your phones. So mine's just streamed straight into my hearing aids now. So I can watch TV, I can watch movies on my iPads, and it's all streamed in. So it's a bit like having your own sound around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. Back when I was running beauty at number two, and the phones used to ring, I used to have to let it run into voicemail, and then get my other half to play the messages back because I couldn't work out what people were saying. Um, it was really tough. It was really tough. It was, how can you not function without, your phone these days? So yes, Bluetooth has been amazing.
Oh, that's incredible. And I'm really interested in technology anyway, and I just love it when something new comes along or you make this discovery and I just think, wow, that's just,
Mm.
it's incredible that you can do that. And remember, it wasn't even that long ago when I better not say it out loud, when we got the Alexa devices for stuff right up. I was just like, wow, the potential is huge, and AI and everything that we can do. I just am so in awe of where it's going to go in the future. And I know there's concerns and we've got to learn, but to see technology working in action and making such a difference for you, I just think, oh, that's so incredible. Wow, I'm amazed. Thank you for sharing that. That's just and I'm going to tell lots of people because I do know people with hearing difficulty, and I'm going to share your story.
So, it's been such a journey, really, Amanda, going back from the beginning with beauty at number two. When I first started out, I can remember one week I had eyebrow shape and, 8 pounds. And I thought, how in the hell am I going to survive on this? How is this going to work for me? But, by just sticking at it and being consistent, so, you soon begin to grow a client base. And anybody starting out in business, don't give up. They reckon, most people who are self-employed after 3 years, a lot don't survive being self-employed. But especially people, as I say, with disabilities, if you're struggling to get a job, and that was one of my biggest issues. I think when I moved up here, I did go for interviews for jobs, but who was going to employ me with a disability as opposed to someone who they wouldn't need to put, pieces of equipment in place in the
Well,
workplace. So
that
I
is not good for a million reasons. That is not good, and it shouldn't even have been a factor because reasonable adjustments can be made, and it is no measure of your ability for all of that, and shame on any employer that doesn't factor that in because it's not a measure of your ability. So if you could give yourself one piece of advice, your younger self, what would it be? And I'm really interested in what you have to say, and I'm sorry that you went through those experiences with those employers, and I feel that you felt almost compelled to create a job for yourself. And
mm,
one thing that I notice when someone's wanting to work for themselves and things aren't happening fast enough, when you create a business, you're expecting everything there and then. But as you say, it takes time, it takes consistency. You've got to build up a profile, you've got to build up credibility, you've got to build your brand. So, what piece of advice would you give to your younger self?
or I think do some research, definitely, and always strive to look for answers because there is an answer out there, definitely. And be true to yourself. Don't give up. We all know our worth, and this is why I try to instill with some of my team who lack confidence. It's always work in progress, and uh, going back to when I wanted to do teaching and I knew I couldn't stand in front of a class full of students because of my hearing loss. Here I am now. I do mentoring on a one-to-one basis with people in my team. So you can work things to suit you. It's just about not giving up and not worrying about what everybody else thinks. Definitely. I think us women, we're quite, yeah. I think we think too much about what everybody else thinks, and we shouldn't. We should just stick on our own path, and always look. If you're looking to better yourself, look for someone who's already done it and go and ask them questions. Nothing wrong with asking questions. That's what I think. Um, it might sound a bit scary, but you'd be surprised what comes back. And if you plateau, it's usually because you've got to a level and you're working out, you're just about to branch off and grow a bit more. Yeah, so beauty for me is a very sociable industry to be in. I love helping people with their skincare and I do lots of makeovers now for ladies in their probably in their late 40s to 50s. I don't capture the younger market really. That's not my niche, but I still get a huge pleasure out of ladies. I guess when they get to their 50s, some ladies they've sort of given up a bit and they blend in the background. And I think, come on, you do need to wear some makeup. You do need to put that lipstick on and make yourself feel good sometimes. And so, yeah, that's what I've been up to the last few years. But as I mentioned to you, I took Tropic Skincare on 7.5 years ago, and that was purely because I'd moved to North Wales and I wanted to get out and meet new people. Um, and here I am, as I say, 7.5 years later with a team of over 200.
Wow.
It's been a fabulous journey, and I get to talk about something I love all the time, and like training today with one of my new girls, um, sharing some of my knowledge with skincare and beauty to help set her up on her way.
That sounds absolutely incredible. And I
Mhm.
love the fact that you're encouraging women, regardless of their age, to just feel a little bit better, and and it doesn't have to stop when you get to a certain age.
Mm.
I'll be one of those 99-year-olds still doing the lipstick, and I will never stop. But one of the things I always say to people when they're worried about being judged, going online or being judged, those people that are judging me don't pay my bills. So that's what drives me. I just think I don't care. I'm out to do my thing my way. And it's a mindset that you have to get over. But to be able to give someone give someone that lift and make them feel better about themselves,
Mm.
it's something that's always going to be in demand. And look what you've managed to achieve from finding yourself unable to believing that you were only able to do something like teaching, to finding yourself actually teaching using technology, and always having had the capability of doing it, but
Mm.
maybe thinking at
Mm.
one point you couldn't. And of course, you always could. It was just sometimes with reasonable adjustments, like I mentioned, a little bit of technology and a little bit of imagination, and possibly compassion that you gave yourself to be able to do it and
Mm.
make it work. And you didn't give up, you made it work. And I just think that's a perfect example of not giving up, being just so determined with your dream to make it work. And here you are telling the story. And I think it's an incredible story.
Well, it's interesting, from my £8 eyebrow shape. I think my team we've just turned over 2.5 million.
Oh,
So
wow, that's
it's,
amazing.
yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. Well, whose loss
Um,
is that from those employers that wouldn't consider you or wouldn't take
no,
on that person with that? I don't want to say disability, because as it turned out, it was probably one of the things that gave you that push to think creatively and think in a different direction. And look at what you've achieved. I think it's amazing.
I do think, sometimes things aren't meant to be, and it will take you down a different path. And the universe is looking down on us and guiding us, I think. And it's just reaching out and giving it a try. That's what I think. You have to give things a try. And um, as I say, I think being in the beauty industry, they reckon it's one of the most happiest places to be. I think it's like that when hairdressers, isn't it? And everybody's pleased to see your hairdresser because you're going to come out looking amazing after
Yeah.
having your hair
And it's
done.
rare we leave a hairdresser feeling worse than when we went in, It's most of the time you come back out feeling like $1 million. So how comfortable are you showing up for your audience then, online or in public? Do you get up on stages? Well, obviously training, you have to speak to a lot of people at once. How comfortable are you with that?
Well, I have done a few presentations and I've been up on stage sharing my story with Tropic Skincare a couple of times, which has been absolutely amazing. But I was also invited with Hidden Hearing, and I go and do a presentation with the new audiologists and share my story. So there's two sides really. There's some nice upsides that have come from it. When it comes to social media, I try. I do. I do try. I have an Instagram and I do Facebook. I've tried TikTok. I'm not so sure on TikTok, but I think I'm a little bit too old for that one. But
No, I'm not having it. Nobody's too old for it. I'm on TikTok, and I haven't got hundreds of followers, but for me, TikTok's like the Wild West. I'm going to give it a go. But you know what? I'm not having no labels, no barriers.
no, no, no. So that one's still work in progress for me. But I will do lives in. I've got a closed group. I share skincare and makeup tips, and I'll do lives in there. So I've got over that, I think. But um, initially it was quite scary, really, isn't it? And then
Anything, the first time you do it, you're unsure, but if you keep doing it, keep showing up.
but I tend to try and do most of my lives now with subtitles because also I think we're of this age where people, they do want to listen to you, but they might not be in the right environment to do it, but they will watch your subtitles
Yeah.
and tune into you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I heard something on television this morning. It's weird, but a lot of people do it. They're watching a program, but they're watching something on the phones, and they're reading the captions coming up, but they're actually multitasking. I think a lot of people do that. So It's just interesting that we can have, I mean, there's never been a better time to have all this um technology to promote ourselves. So my view is if it's on there, use it, just accommodate all your audiences for whatever reason and put it on there. But yeah, people do tend to multitask when there's with content and it's like creating your own little television show, isn't it? You just gotta you've got to think of everything, the
Right.
production element, everything. But no, that's brilliant that you do that, and plus people can watch it back when they feel like it, and it's always there.
Mm, yeah,
So
I think we have to try and it's got to be less than 3 minutes because they reckon we haven't got nobody's got any attention span anymore, and that's probably my downfall is I can chat for a lot longer than 3 minutes. That's a really hard one to try and rein in that one.
yeah, and it's not a bad idea to kind of give you that limit, isn't it? Right. What have I got to say? Who am I going to send to? How long have I got? Right. Get it out there. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Probably one
Yeah.
I should follow a little bit more as well. So with all of that, that's amazing. What would you like to be known for? What legacy would you like to leave?
Oh, um, well, I would love to, spread an awareness and leave a legacy that really we should be researching more into what we're putting on our skin, on our bodies for a start. It is important, and I don't think a lot of people realize just how important all these chemicals they put in our foods and in in our products. We should be um, raising an awareness and yeah, investing in ourselves. But also, I think if I look at my children, especially my daughter, my legacy is, is to be self-sufficient and, to learn to stand on your own 2 feet and not be reliant on somebody else. I think to be in a position where you can be just you and, as I say, not have to rely on and your other half to support you, to support yourself. And that's, I come across lots of women that are coming out of, marriages and things like that, and they just don't know where to start, and they're having to rebuild their lives again. And I've got I've got a couple of ladies in my team in their 70s with no or bare minimum pensions. So my legacy would be, yeah, if you can, I think, invest in yourself and be confident and find something you really love and you can pass it on. Um, that's what I would like my granddaughter to, from what my daughter to my granddaughter is to be you and be as independent as you can.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an amazing example to set our children and grandchildren to be able to say, well, actually, I can work for myself. I can do this for myself. And it's not employment isn't the only route in life. There are many options. And I love it when women are able to be that example for other women because you could find yourself single for whatever reason at any age and to be in your 70s and have no pension to fall back on or whatever, that must be pretty frightening. But to be able to think, oh well, actually there are options, I have a choice. It's really good to have those choices and not be forced into thinking, well, I'm destitute, I'm doomed, but that there are other avenues. And I was always keen to teach my daughters that employment wasn't the only option, that there were other ways. And I taught them when they were very, very small about ways to set up a business and what you could do because they were asking really interesting questions. And they both gone on to study business studies, which is great. However, what they learned was because they chose to learn business studies, but they don't teach those skills if you don't study business studies. And I think there should be an element somewhere
Mm,
in the
mm,
education system where all children are taught a little bit about it, but that there are other routes. You don't have to be employed. There are apprenticeships you can set up on your own. You have your own business. There's more financial education, and it just worries me that we just seem to be shoehorning children, down one route. But with people like yourself, you're out there, you're doing it, you're showing. your children, grandchildren, that there are other routes, and I think it's incredible to be able to showcase that work that you're doing.
We're all unique, and we've all got a special place in this world, I think. And uh, yeah, there's an answer out there for everybody. You just have to keep looking. As I say, I'm just so very grateful, really, that my path went off down the beauty avenue. And as I say, I can be honest with you. Sometimes, yes, I still do have moments where my hearing disability gets me down, but I try to live with it as best as I can, and yeah, I choose wisely. I think these days, certain situations that don't suit me, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's it's not a disservice to yourself. It's just we have choices, and that's the nice thing. I don't have to. I'm not answerable to anybody. Um, so yeah, that is one of the upsides for working for yourself. Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. Making your choices on your
Mm,
terms is the
yeah,
definition of freedom in
yeah,
my eyes, isn't it? That
yeah.
is just freedom. So where can we find out more about you online? And I'll put your links in the show notes.
Well, you can find me on Instagram on Sandra Pierce, looking good naturally, and the same on Facebook. My and it goes through to Linktree, and there's lots of my links on there. I'm still to get my website up and running. That's work in progress at the moment, but you'll find lots of information about me and on LinkedIn too.
Fantastic. I will put those on the show notes. And thank you so much for
Thank
joining me. It's
you.
been an absolute
Okay.
pleasure. And I've loved hearing your story. And thank you for sharing it with me.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for listening today. A special thanks to my fantastic guest, Sandra Pierce, for sharing her incredible story with us. If you want to increase sales with your personal brand strategy, don't miss out on my free resources. You can find the links in the podcast notes, as well as the links that Sandra also mentioned in the podcast. And if you like the episode, please leave a review and share it with your friends. Join me on the next episode for more incredible bravery behind the brand stories. You can follow me on Instagram at Coach Amanda Jane, or visit my website amandajane.co.uk. Bye for now.